Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stationery Cafe After Dark. This is the special episode we have for our wonderful patrons of Patreon who wants to enjoy more content from the Stationery Cafe. My name is April, in this screen with the green background from Penguins Creative. And joining me today is Kelly from Kelly Love Letters. Kelly, Magic
Hi,
Spirit Fingers.
Spirit Fingers.
And then a special guest, our dear friend Sarah in the other
Yay!
spirit finger. we talk about Sarah a lot on the show, Kelly, right? Like happy
I
hour.
I do like to mention her because she's always got a hot take on something.
Well, I don't know if it's always hot takes. I think it's like fun takes and like,
Yeah, maybe
she's
that's what I mean.
she's just as into stationery as we are. I gotta have you on the show someday, Sarah. For
Yeah,
the
I know, right?
the actual podcast. And so she's also based in Seattle. She's part of our, even though Kelly's all the way in Portland, we always say she's part of our local group. Sarah, Kelly, Phyllis, Nita, the usual people we mentioned on the podcast. And today we thought it's finally time to do a little stationery buddy introduction and have her join one of our After Dark top down journaling session.
Yay, I'm
Yes.
happy to be here.
Yay! So first of all, Kelly, what are you drinking today?
Well, I have a what is this called? It's just a drip coffee that I made in my cherry blossom mug from Japan.
Oh, nice. I thought it was just a paper cup at first glance.
No, it's my most prized mug.
And what journal are you journaling in today?
Well, I just so happen to have this. I received a package from a lovely person named CY, and I just got the. Is this showing up backwards for you guys, or is it just for me?
No, it's just for you. It's showing up fine
Oh,
for us.
oh, cool. So
I
this
have
is
no idea. I can't see anything.
it's the Starbucks Reserve Roastery brown Traveler's Notebook, the standard size. And
Nice.
I actually got this Starbucks Reserve brass charm from Lexi when she went there like I don't know 3 years ago or something.
Yes, Lexi was your store coworker who was on one of our After Darks too, actually,
Yes,
from a few
yes.
episodes back. So wow, so you also have the Starbucks Reserve now. So Sarah, only you left. Like
Yes.
you've been saying you wanted the
I'm
Starbucks
surprised you
Reserve.
don't have one, Sarah.
The Starbucks Reserve Traveler's Notebook.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one with the
Um,
embossing.
I've thought about ordering it a couple of times, but I keep holding back because I want to actually buy it in Japan.
Ah,
Oh,
that's the
see,
dream.
but when is that going to happen though? You got to be
Probably.
realistic.
I know, it'll probably break eventually. It'll just show up at my door. Hey guys, look what I got.
Just show up with it. Well,
Oops.
Sarah, what are you drinking and what journal are you journaling in today?
So today I am drinking a cup of Gevalia Majestic Roast drip
Oh,
coffee
Ooh,
in my
nice.
fancy.
sriracha mug.
Sriracha
My
mug.
sriracha mug. It's my favorite.
I love it.
It's 20 ounces, so it's the perfect size.
Wow, nice.
I love how
And
you haven't changed your Instagram account name to Sriracha Sarah yet, which is
Yeah.
what you have on Twitch.
I probably should eventually. I wonder if that's taken. Maybe not. Um, and I am working in my Jibun Techo days in the B6. Well, it's the mini, so it's the B6 Slim-ish.
Oh,
Ooh. I
nice.
almost cannot recognize it by that cover you customized. What is that again? Like,
So I took the plastic cover that is made for the Jibun Techo,
hmm
and I covered it with it's a wrapping paper, basically like gift wrap, but it's in the style of a Mexican card game called Loteria. It's like bingo,
hmm
only
Yeah.
it's with images. And
That's so
we used to play a
awesome.
lot when I was a kid.
There, I love the Loteria, like that artwork. It's, I think someone was making like a Loteria tarot deck, like kind of
Oh
inspired
yeah.
by, and like I think that's super cool, like old style art. I like that.
Nice. And I am drinking a mango milk. Have you guys heard of that? It's kind of like a mango milk tea. I saw it in like a can at this H Mart, which is like a grocery that sells Asian food a lot. And it's like made in Taiwan. I was like, oh, I drink mango milk tea. Like they sell it at the street food stalls typically, where they just juice up juice or milk, fruit smoothies. But it tasted a little funky, so I'm just like, it's not really, it's not really what I like. It's a huge can too. It's kind of like those beer cans that's like I don't know, like a larger quantity. So I'm just like, I'll have to finish this. But I'm journaling in the Thinking of You, by Mr. Eggplant's and Thinking of You. I think I showed it quite a few times. Before we get started, I just want Kelly to show us the Starbucks Reserve cover again, because I just realized at the beginning of this episode I've been spotlighting Sarah the whole time.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So yeah, please show people the amazing and beautiful brown cover that I couldn't.
So this is all of its glory.
It's so new. It's like
it's so new.
It's got that like kind of glossiness that's like from a new.
Sorry. There we go. I'm bad at showing this. There we go.
Has not incurred any scratches yet.
Yeah,
right?
Not yet. Yeah. So, and then I also wanted to show off on the insert that I want to work on.
Ooh.
Is the Oblation Papers and Press Travelers Company official partner shop stamp.
Whoa!
That was so cool. I have to go to Portland again.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so hyped when we got these in, and I've been telling like a couple girls, customers yesterday came in and one of them bought a Traveler's, and I was like, so did you guys know we're a partner shop? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so here's the stamp. And then one of them totally went crazy on this piece of paper and stamped a bunch. I'm like, oh, awesome.
The
cult grows.
The cult increases. I remember you were like so excited you stamped it upside down in your passport.
I was so bummed. I'm like, no, it's not perfect.
It was captured on the Instagram story of Ablation account.
Yeah. You know what? I've grown to love the imperfections in my journals, though.
Yes.
You know, those really silly mistakes that you make. It's like, oh no, I just glued this picture upside down, and if I tear it out, I'm going to tear my paper. So I guess live with it.
Yeah, it's just part of journaling. You don't have to be perfect, which is hard.
And Sarah would be the one to know, because she experiments with so many things with her like different journaling books, setups, sketchbooks. You know, you have been cutting things up, putting things together, which we'll get into in a bit. But as we start our journaling, you know, let's do a little Q&A. Like, so Sarah, I don't think I ever asked you, but like, when did you get into journaling? Like, when did you find, like, I guess that first step into the
Sarah's origin story.
The origin story. Don't share too much, because I still want you on the episode.
It would be a long story, because I've actually been thinking about it the last few days.
Nice.
And I think it started when I was probably 3.
Oh.
And one of my uncles took me school supply shopping with my siblings. Nice. I didn't need school supplies, but I got to go anyway and pick out school supplies. And I think that's probably where my addiction started. It's his fault.
That's cute. I love that.
The ultimate reward, right? We're always like, I'll be good, but you gotta take me to a school supply store and let me buy some stickers.
Yeah, and with siblings, you can't really leave out the little ones, right? They have to be included. So
lame. I'm just kidding.
But how about like the Japanese stationery? Like, when did you have a taste of what Kelly would say the gateway drug? And which strain is it? You know, like which one?
I'm gonna try to make it a short story, but it was actually in my junior year of junior high. So my eighth grade. And there was a foreign exchange student from South Korea, and we got to be friends because we were in the same English class. And of course, she brought her school supplies with her from South Korea, and
so good.
And you're like, hey there.
she gave me this pencil, and can you Yes, I think you can see it.
Yes.
And she had this one and a blue one, and I had no idea that a translucent mechanical pencil even existed. And so it just kind of opened up this world of there's more stationery than what I can find at the office supply store or
Yes.
at Target during back to school.
Like the aesthetics, colors, why always make pens in like boring blue, red, and yellow or whatever? Why can't we have teal or mermaid colors? So
Right.
And now
Yeah.
Sarah is the queen of Twisbies.
I am. I love Twisby. It's my favorite fountain pen.
Aw.
She
I
has
love that.
so many. And so, like, when we first met at one of our meetups in Seattle, so for those who don't know, I moved to Seattle in 2017, and just like how I had tried to make friends when I first moved to the US, I was like, okay, anyone likes Hobonichi? Let's meet up, And so I had been hosting these, like, kind of monthly meetups in Seattle area since 2018, maybe. I didn't even start until, 2018 when I got a little bit more settled. And did you, like, are you already like a 2-year, 3-year Hobonichi veterans then?
I was actually pretty new to Hobonichi. I had discovered them through, of course, YouTube, and I think that your YouTube videos, are probably some of the videos I watched the most.
Nice.
And I had just learned about AliExpress, and so I have a little confession. In 2017, I would shop through AliExpress a lot, and I ended up buying a knockoff Hobonichi.
Ooh, yes.
But I didn't know that's what it was at the time. And so I actually still have it. So this is actually an A5. This cover doesn't come in an A5.
Oh,
from
right.
Hobonichi.
I see,
and
I
it's
see.
like that.
Yes.
It's that PLU leather. And so, but this is what I started in. And after watching a bunch of videos and stuff, I started journaling in this, and I really liked it. And then I discovered, it's a Hobonichi style planner.
Yes.
And so I ordered my own Hobonichi that year. I even have it written down in here when my order came up. And
I love
so
this.
that's when I started going down the rabbit hole of Hobonichi, and I figured out how to place the order myself, which it can be a little bit tricky.
It was.
And I had even done my own Techo Kaigi, even though I didn't know what that was at the time. In this journal, I was like, do I want the A6? Do I want the cousin?
Yes.
And so that's how I made my decision. I started with an A6, and I stopped using this one. And I've been meaning to try and find this cover in a legit Hobonichi. But it's kind of, it's a unicorn cover.
It is a rare one. I also want that one. It's super cute.
That was Mother 2 for back in 2017, I think.
And it's called the cast cover.
The cast.
Yes. Their cast leather cover is also really nice, but I feel like I need to start with the full color fabric one. And
Totally. It's better.
Yeah, so I don't buy knockoff Hobonichis from AliExpress anymore. I have learned.
It's all part of a learning curve, and like I feel like when you're first starting out, AliExpress is probably a really good thing to do, because if you don't know if you're into it yet, and you don't want to fork over a ton of money.
It's also hit or miss on the quality though. So
yeah.
I have to kind of admit to myself, my first foray into Hobonichi back in like 2012, 2013. There's this like, even though I always say Taiwanese stationery is great, like there is this brand called Chuyo, CHUYO. Like back in the day, they also do like office supply schedulers and planners and stuff. And they did like a complete knockoff of Hobonichi, like the layouts of the paper. And they sell it for so much cheaper. And that was actually how I kind of like got into the Hobonichi too. I was like, oh, this is a cool one day, one page. I couldn't afford the Hobonichi as a student. So I was just like, oh, I'll try out the Chuyo. I can even get it in my local stationery store. And it wasn't until I really got into, learn about the brand, the value and stuff. It's like, no, this ain't cutting it. Like, you're not using TRP paper. You're like knocking off people's design idea. And they were like making a bunch of like fabric covers too. And if you scroll back far enough in one of my old videos, I even like talked about one of them. Like, I had bought a PVC cover from Juyo to use with my cousin before I came to the States, and then now it's just like, no, I need the real thing. Like imagine like today we have that gorgeous seal tweed like masterpiece.
Yes,
that's just kind of the thing that Hobonichi brings to the table, and so we can't I do know people still look for like some handmade covers and stuff, but I just feel like I just want the real thing. They put so much hard work into designing and like
totally
paying for licensing and all that stuff. So unless it's like a really like an original piece by anyone else, I would totally just kind of still go for the OG legit stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Original Hobonichi is the way to go. I mean, it's of course a little bit of an investment, but it's always worth the cost, because they do, put so much consideration into the details and the quality of construction and all of that.
Absolutely. But this year you pivoted hard.
I did.
To Jibun. Tell us the story. Is it Kelly's fault? Is it Phyllis's fault?
Is it?
I mean, probably. I have to blame somebody.
Which one of you got the Jibun first?
I think Kelly did, actually.
You know what's crazy though? I have a confession, and I've already confessed this, but I have not been touching my Jibun Techo like at all. I feel so bad because the paper is really good, but
it is.
I have too many books. I'm lost in books, and then here I am with another Traveler's. It's terrible.
So many sketchbooks and notebooks, so little time.
Yes.
I want to use all of them.
Oh, absolutely. But so did you just start off with one, Sarah, from Kinokuniya, or did you actually get it off Japan's? Like, so what was the story that turned your Techo Kaigi from last year into like complete kind of card piling and then like pivoting?
Okay, so when I was planning for this year, I was planning to do Hobonichi again. And so, of course, I got an A6 and a cousin, because every single year there's this debate. And I start with an A6, and then I'm like, this is not big enough. And I go to the cousin, and then it's like, okay, this is too big. I'm not filling up all of the space.
Right, yeah.
And the B6 Slim is a nice in between size, right? And it's not super tall and narrow like the Traveler's Notebook, which I really like the idea of, but I really struggle with those dimensions. And the passport is just too small. That's good for little notes and stuff, but for me, not great for journaling and all of the stickers and washi I like to use.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I ended up getting my Hobonichi order like I do every year. And then I thought, you know what? I really want to try the Jibun Techo Diary. It's that in-between size. And so I got one and gave it a try. And I ended up really liking the paper. And so I switched over to it completely. I think I had started journaling in the A6 Hobonichi. But I ended up, it was a week into the year when I bought my first days to give it a try. So I had to back journal a bunch. And I ended up falling in love with it, just the size and the layout. And I like that it's divided. For whatever reason, I really like the layout of the page. And it's completely crazy because you can do that to a cousin. You can split it right down the middle if you want to. And
it's
so,
just that something, the fact that it's already done for you,
I like being able to customize the cover. I've switched out the cover a couple of times already this year. I like the feel of the plastic cover, which is so weird, but it's not super like that sticky plastic. It's kind of opaque and has a little bit of a texture to it.
Yes.
So it feels really nice. And then I got the diary because I mean, why have one journal when you can have like two? And
I'm feeling that. Oh,
I started using the diary, which I really
Oh,
like
I love your
because
pages. It's so
oh,
full.
I
So
love
I
it too.
I don't plan. Well, I sort of plan in it, but I don't plan a lot of things. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I don't have to schedule work stuff or meetings, but I do have to schedule kids, dentist appointments and doctor's appointments and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I'll jot those in. But what I use the diary for is for jotting down things throughout the day, because I have a terrible memory, and if I get behind in my days, I can go back to my diary and say, okay, what did I do on that day? And it'll
Yes.
trigger those memories, and I can fill in my daily diary.
Nice, nice. And I love the thing you do where you've started to like kind of like as an initiative to use your stash. You would
Yeah.
take like one sheet of sticky club stickers, and just
Yes.
like did you like pre-decorate them first?
Oh, that's my Sunday thing. So like at the beginning of the week,
Uh-huh.
it's like the end of the planner week, right? It ends
Right.
on a Sunday. And so on that day, I'll go to the next week, and I'll flip through my sticker book, and I'll pick a sheet, and I'll just fill the entire page with
I
those
love that.
stickers.
I love that so much. I'm like inspired, and right now I have like this sticker sheet here, and I'm like, I'm gonna use this whole thing
I
across
know, and
two spreads.
I'm so proud of myself because I think I've used up like 10 sticker sheets so far this year.
Wow.
And that's a
Nice.
record. I don't think I used up one whole sticker sheet all of last year because there are so many stickers.
There are so many stickers. I totally feel you. And I love that. I love your pages. Last time we met up together, you were showing me how you used them. It's just
Mhm.
so great. And you use one even for like reading as well, right? Like kind of like a reading journal.
I do. So I started out with one, and then I ended up with let's see. This is my reading journal.
Nice.
This one was meant for doodling, but I
Oh my
haven't really worked with
God.
that one.
Nice.
Wait,
And
are these all Jibuns?
That's right.
yes, and
I
and
love it.
this one is for my Bible reading. So I write down notes
Oh.
or passages from that in this one.
Mm-hmm.
This one is supposed to be a doodle diary, but I haven't worked a whole lot in it because I always overthink my drawings.
Ooh, I
Oh,
like
they're so
those.
good
Those are
though.
cute.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I overthink them, and so I have some troubles filling those in. But my next one I think was my reading journal, and I really like this one. This one, it's okay for me to skip days. I
Mm-hmm.
don't read every day. I'm a binge reader, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Oh,
read
okay.
for hours every day for like a week, and then maybe I'll go a month without reading.
That sounds like me with K drama.
Yeah.
I'm in a
So,
binge week right now.
so I use my monthly pages to track the when I've started and when I finished a book.
And you print out the
And
book covers. I love
I
that.
oh,
love
actually,
that.
these are sticky club stickers.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Nice.
want to print out the covers, but I need to get a decent printer.
Nice.
um, and I also mark down the days that books are coming out that I want to buy that are on my wish list. So the
Yes.
days like the paperback version come out. I don't like mixing paperback and hardcover books in a series. I like
Oh, I
them to
get
be
that.
consistent,
Yeah, the
Right.
and so
match.
I mark down the days that books are going to come out, so I know when to stock Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
Nice.
Amazing.
I love it.
And then on the daily pages, I'll write the book and the author that I'm reading that day. And on the left side, I'll write down either words that I come across that are new to me or jargon from the story itself. You know, every fantasy story has its own
Yes.
terms
Yes.
and words. They make up words, which is wonderful, but sometimes, it's a lot.
Yes.
And quotes or passages from the book that kind of stand out to me. And then on the right hand side, I write down thoughts that I have either about the characters or about the story itself, or about the world, or questions or guesses I have.
Ah.
It's a way for me to talk about the book without spoiling it for other people.
Nice.
Like
Yes.
little conversations with yourself in your
Right.
book, just kind of like, I love that. Oh
I'm
man,
gonna
that
have to tell my friend Amanda about she's actually a patron, so she can watch this too.
oh
Um,
nice. She can
because
see how
she's
to.
she's a voracious reader. Like she's
Yeah.
also a stay-at-home mom and she does homeschool and like she's nuts. She reads a lot.
She's nuts. She's nuts. I love that though. I love how like Sarah, when you like found something that works, you just go all in. You know.
I
Yeah.
have a tendency to obsess.
Which brings me to the next category of item that I know you love, and mostly I'm just here for the ride to watch you talk about them instead of journaling. But
Yeah.
show us your sketchbooks. Like, so Sarah is
Yes.
our in-house local watercolor and sketchbook expert, because she like she said so herself, once she's into it, she goes into it. So you basically had compared and like, you know, all the paper, watercolor paper, what's good, what's not, and
Yeah.
then tried out all kinds of watercolor palettes. So I don't know where to start. Maybe first your favorite watercolor brand, maybe one to two, and then show us your palettes, because you have this amazing collection of tiny palettes, and I think people need to see them.
I love tiny things. I love tiny things so much. So I have my top three favorite watercolor brands are Schminke, which is a German brand, um, White Nights by Nievska Palitra, which is a Russian brand,
You hooked
and
me on those. I love the White Knights.
they're a great paint. They re-wet really nicely, and they're affordable. Uh, you know, in comparison to other brands, and my third favorite is Da Vinci paints. Um, they're fairly local. They are a California brand, and they've been making paints for, I don't know, like 70 years at least.
Oh wow.
Um, and so those are my top three brands. But I do like tiny palettes. They're my favorite thing. This size in the Schminke is my favorite. It's kind of a square. These only come out when they do limited edition runs.
Oh wow.
So I have this one, and I have one in black, and this one has, I've added three colors, but this one has some really interesting primaries. It's got a lemon yellow, a magenta, and a helio cerulean, which are um, like in a printer, right? It's the yellow, cyan, magenta shades. So,
oh yeah.
Nice.
So that's this set. I really like the size. It's a good weight too.
We're going smaller, right? Like
We are going smaller.
Oh boy.
Where's my? Oh, I know where it's at. Okay. Also have their tiny bijou box, which I really love.
oh,
It
that's so
fits
cute.
in the palm.
Oh man.
Some are really neat because they come with a water reservoir attached to the palette, and so it's like a little like a canteen, like a little whiskey bottle or whatever, and so you can carry your water with your paints.
Nice.
A case for making. They make handmade paints, and they have an art supply shop, I believe, in San Francisco.
I know. I wanted to go last time we were at the pen show, Kelly, but I couldn't make it out that far. They're like all the way in the city.
Yeah. I would love to go to their shop sometime. But they also sell these empty palettes, the same size and style as the Schminke bijou box, but they're painted in different colors.
Can you open them? I just want to see how much it fits.
Yeah, I want to see
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Oh, wow. We love
they're so cute.
They are.
So, this one folds out nice and big.
Nice.
And then I have this other one. It's Field Artist. It's a brand that I found on Amazon, and they have the same style of box. But these little dividers kind of drive me crazy because then I can't fit my full pans.
I always take them out.
I prefer full pans, but they have these built-in dividers that you can't remove from the box. And so I got another one that was a little bit less expensive and came with like cheaper paints. and I had my husband take out the little dividers
I remember
so
that story.
I could. Bless his heart.
He used tools, and
Bless his heart, he did his very best.
some damages were sustained.
It got a little bent, but I was able to unbend it and straighten out the holes on the bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Which he actually had to do that because it was the divider was riveted into place.
Oh,
so
I see. Mm-hmm.
But I managed to get it straightened out, and then I just covered the holes with black painter's tape.
Nice.
And it works out. This is actually one of my favorite palettes now.
Yeah, so portable too.
It's real cute.
And it's very limited. It's got split primary, so it's got warm yellow, red, and blue, and a cool yellow, red, and blue, and it allows you to mix a greater variety of colors in lots of different shades without having to carry a whole lot of paint.
Nice. That's a good idea to kind of squeeze in the split primaries. I gotta think about that for my next one. Okay, next.
Okay. So I also
I know there's more.
Yes. This is a Daler Rowney palette. I didn't like the paints. They're a student grade. They have a lot of filler, not a lot of color payoff. So what I did is I popped out the insert and I got these little, they're the cutest little quarter pans. I got those on Amazon. I filled them with mostly Da Vinci paints. This one I think is a Winsor Newton, and this is a Winsor & Newton. The professional paints, don't get me started on their Cotman paints. They work for a lot of people. I don't love them.
I started with those. And then I learned my ways. But
yes.
The OG days, though.
I want a lot of color. I want to be able to put my brush into the paint and pick up a lot of color. I love it.
Yes.
Exactly. Bright and strong. My tiniest palette is probably this one by Art Toolkit.
Stop it!
So small.
Oh my god.
This is their Demi palette.
I have one too.
Yeah,
I need
and
to
it's nice.
Unspotlight you so we can all see.
That's incredible. Oh my god.
It's super teeny. I had to bring it up. I put a little sticker.
I don't really watercolor that much, but that makes me want to.
I've actually lost this one a few times.
I know.
It's so tiny.
I had to put a sticker on it because it's so black, and it used to just melt into my black table. It was just gone.
Yeah, I've stuck it in my back pocket and forgotten it's there.
I had to put it in the pouch.
Fortunately, it hasn't gone through the wash yet.
Oh my goodness, that would have been a surprise for your clothes when it comes out.
I really like these though because they come with, especially the larger boxes, they come with, or you can buy different size pans. This is their portfolio palette, so it's a lot larger. They have another one that's a mid-size. It's about the size of a credit card.
The folio.
And that one's really nice, but I don't have that one yet. Oh yes, the folio palette.
Yes.
But they've got, different size pans that you can customize your palette with. So it's, you can do however many colors that you want to. You can fill it with these teeny tiny little pans. Or if you like a bigger brush, you can use, these other larger pans.
Yes.
My current favorite palette, though, is this 3D printed one.
Oh, this one you just showed me last time. It looks so cool.
It is so neat. This is one of their newer designs, and you can fit, let's see, what's 8 times 3?
24?
24 paints.
I'm still doing it in my head.
I know, I'm trying to, so you can fit 24 paints, but if you don't use, let's say, these colors as often, it comes with an extra mixing space. So you can set that right inside.
Oh, look at that magic.
And then you can have all of your primary colors or your most used colors around the outer edge. So you can mix in this space and this space. Nice. And then if you're like, oh, there's this color that I want to use, but I don't use it that often, you can just pop out the palette and you've got 12 more colors.
I had to count cool. them. I love it. It's so cool.
It's also really slim. And these are not, they don't quite hold as much paint as a half pan, but they get pretty close, and they're, nice and rectangular, so you can fit a larger brush without having to, dig the tip in and damage your brush tip.
Nice.
They also do one that is a little bit smaller, and this one they call the dot card.
Oh,
Wow.
So it's
so
very,
tiny.
it's very shallow, and it comes with this little layout here. Again, different configurations in the shop, so you can pop out this palette and put in, one that will hold a different amount of paints. But this one, literally, you just put a dot of paint in there, and you can slip it in your pocket and go. And go.
I love it. These are like literally for people like us who wants to like doodle in our books on the go without committing to like the full thing. It's not like we're doing like a full watercolor piece, with like washes and stuff. Like this is perfect for just, if you pair it with a water brush or something like that, you can just easily add color to your pages like on the go. I love it.
This shop is Arts to Embers on Etsy. They've got lots of really cool configurations. In fact, I ordered another one that's sitting in the mailbox right now.
Nice. I love it. So much good stuff.
Those are my favorite palettes right now.
We joke that Sarah tested out for us so we don't have to experiment. She has that adventurous spirit.
I love playing with color, and I like creating little kits. So
yeah.
It's so fun. While you put those away, I can share about how like, there was a few times where we were like, we used to do stationery meetups, and then I think a few times we branched out into like art, like kind of like a paint party kind of thing, like at the cafe. I think it was at a Starbucks, right, where it was just like, instead of journaling, let's just paint. And it's always funny to, I guess, paint in public. Just people are like, what are you doing? But I highly recommend it for people who wants to like, stay creative. It's as easy as cafe journaling. You just have to bring a little bit more extra tools, like the cup. But usually cafes have water. They usually have a little like disposable cups and stuff. And so that was really nice.
There are lots and lots of options right now for creating small kits to make it, easy to carry, nice and slim.
Yes.
They have collapsible water cups that you can take so that you don't have to, haul around a bottle or
Cookie
whatever.
ate mine.
Oh my god.
I have a silicone one, and Cookie like played with it the other day. Like he found it off my table and it was now in pieces. He thought it was one of the toys, but I needed to get another one.
Oh, naughty Cookie.
I know. Cookie is the worst.
Daiso actually has collapsible cups sometimes. They carry them where their toothbrushes are.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or camping supplies.
Their toothbrush holders are also great ink sample holders, I guess.
Right.
I always have to...
The really cute ones that you sent me, April.
Yes, the penguin and the...
Oh, I've got them right here.
The white panda.
You've got them too. They're so silly.
They came out with new ones. We have to collect them all. There's like a cute Shiba Inu ones, and then one that looks like a milk jar. It's super cute.
And there's a little fox too.
Yes.
Jeez. Can they just stop already?
Okay, and then moving on to the next one, I wanna see your experimentations with your Traveler's notebook, the thing you've been doing last time. The whole, I love the Jibun size, so I'm gonna cut my Traveler's notebook down. You're like Phyllis.
Wait, what? What?
I think Phyllis actually inspired me because she's fearless with her Traveler's notebook.
She is.
Yes.
And for a long time I thought, well, I'm not going to do that to my Traveler's notebook because, they're not cheap, and what if you mess it up, right?
Right.
I don't want to have to replace it. But the other day I decided, I was thinking, I'm not using it. I'm not using it because it's a weird dimension for me, and it's a struggle. But what actually also triggered it was their, what is it called? The sticker release paper from their B-Sides and Rarities line. It's such a great insert and tool because you can just stick your stickers in there, and or washi tape samples, and tuck it in your journal. It's very slim, so it
And
doesn't
did you
add
round
a
the
whole lot of bulk.
corners?
I did.
They look
Nice.
so good. I love a rounded corner.
So it's not only aesthetically pleasing, I love the look of rounded corners, but it's actually quite functional too. Rounded corners are less likely to get bumped and mangled than the square
Yes.
corners.
They do.
And
Yep.
so I often round the corners because it keeps my notebooks and journals looking nice, even though I toss them in my bag. So I
love
started
that.
with this. I thought, well, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll cut this one down, tuck it into my Jibun Techo, and we'll see how it goes. And I ended up falling in love with the size because, again, it's the B6 Slim.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
And
it's
it's
a
nice
great
and narrow.
size.
So good.
You're inspiring me.
It's nice and narrow. And so I had, for like 2 or 3 weeks, I had been saying, okay, I'm going to cut down my Traveler's notebook. I'm going to cut down my Traveler's notebook. But it made me really nervous, and it was a while before I actually got up the nerve to do it.
Yeah,
And-
like the sticker release, like the refills are easy to do surgeries on, because
Right.
like I saw you kind of like had cut off equal amounts of the top and the bottom, so the image stays in the center. But you can't quite do that with the Traveler's notebook, right? Because they have that kind of like thing on the two ends.
Right. I actually didn't center it.
Oh, really? It looks centered.
Really? Yeah, it
Well,
does.
I think that's because Traveler's Company, they printed it a little bit higher up on the on the
Yeah.
book.
Okay,
they
that makes
they
sense.
didn't center the image, and so it made it really easy to just chop off the bottom, so you can see the staples here.
Nice.
But
Okay.
it's easier to just have to chop off one side too. It's less stress. Anyway, so I finally got up the nerve and I got out my brown Traveler's notebook, which is my least favorite color.
Oh, what?
My least favorite color. Also, the only other one I have is a camel that was gifted to me, and so I didn't want to experiment on that one. And my the Taiwan beer collaboration, which I did not want to cut that one.
No.
That's a
No, that's
beautiful
precious.
one.
So I went with my brown one, and I chopped it down.
Sarah, that's really cute.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
And let's see, I
Yes.
cut off the top.
Yeah, can you put it side by side so we see what it has become? Oh,
That
I
is
love
so
it.
dope. Oh my
I cut off the
God.
top
Hmm.
so that I can keep the Traveler's Notebook stamp on the bottom.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes.
I would have lost all of that.
Hmm.
So I
my
just I chopped
God.
off the top, and I took a leather punch, which I had because I've experimented with
Yeah.
leather before, and I added my own holes at the
Mhm.
top. I had to replace both of them,
Uh-huh.
and then a couple of days later, I had ordered some leather paint from Amazon, and I painted the cover also.
I love that you painted it, and it's got the Yoseki house charm, which we have like only like 2
Yes.
left on the store. But...
Oh,
It's
nice. Nice
perfect.
plug,
It's
April.
super cute.
No, I love that.
I
It's
want
so
the
good.
round one too.
Ah, the round one.
I think that one.
You missed it
I think I
last
missed the
time.
boat on that one.
Mhm. No, that's
Um,
amazing. I love how you decided to do like the stripes on the
Uh-huh.
leather.
Yeah, it looks
and-
really good.
Any tips for people wanting to try that out if they were to do it on their own?
Use
Measure
tape.
measure like 3 or 4 times to make sure that you have a straight line across the top.
Mhm.
Because if you cut it crooked, you can't put the leather back.
Of course, unless
Yeah.
you're Phyllis. Actually, she did manage to sew hers back with like a weird patch thing.
I actually saved it just in case.
Nice.
I saved my leather strap. That's probably my big tip is measure a couple of times to make sure you've got it, that you've got it right. I use a T-square,
Mm.
so it's got this on
Oh, nice.
the side, so you can bump it up against the edge that you know is straight, and make sure that you've got a straight line going across.
That's a good idea.
But then I also measure, like, for here I'll measure from the top to the line I've marked, and then on the other side I'll measure from the top to the line I've marked to make sure, oh, it's 3.5 inches on this side, it's also 3.5 inches on this side.
3.5. Okay. Good.
Oh, sorry, that's just a guesstimate on the, like, that's not actually how much I cut off, I can tell you though.
I see, I see, I see. And
I can tell you. Let's see. I actually chopped off 3 centimeters.
okay, 3 centimeters. Nice. To make it a B6 size. I love
To
it.
make
And
it fit a B6 size insert.
the width is basically the same though, right? You didn't have
Yeah,
to do
that's
anything with the width.
I
incredible.
didn't change the width. I only changed the height, which is weird that it would make such a difference in its usability for me.
Yeah,
but
no, just by kind of
it's really
creating
cool.
that dimension, that makes sense, I guess. And then you suddenly just like accept
I guess
it.
it makes it a little more square, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Okay, so that's a really cool idea. Do I have any spare Traverse notebook around lying around? I think
Dude, I
maybe
definitely do. I'm in a surplus right now.
if I go back to Taiwan on this trip and found my old brown Traveler's notebook, the one stamped Midori, maybe I'll cut that one down.
That's a precious one, though.
But what if it's like already like
Your
super
very
like
first.
yeah, it's my very first one. I gave it to my sister. My sister gave it back to my mother. My mother puts it in the storage warehouse, and so I have to go look for it.
Mom.
But I love the painting. Any tips for people who wants to paint their leather?
Yes. So I used masking tape to mark off the lines. I did a bunch of sketches too. Which sketchbook did I use for that?
I love the sketches you showed to us.
Because I couldn't decide how I wanted to paint it. Like there are a few examples. Oops, apologies. My alarm to pick up the kids is going off.
Oh,
No.
dang.
But Sean is here. We have some time, a few minutes. So
I'll just leave him at school.
they'll be fine. The
I'm
teachers
just
will watch them.
They'll be okay.
I love teachers. I wouldn't leave my kids after hours, make me babysit. I think I did it in this one. Yes. So I went through some different configurations for the stripes that I
I love
wanted
that
to
you
do.
colored it too,
Oh, cute.
just to make sure it matches the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't visualize in my mind very well. I'm much better at seeing something in person. It's kind of an easier way for me to learn things and to get an idea for how something is going to be. So I like to either sketch it out or look up pictures online and things like that.
Nice.
So I sketched it out first to get an idea of how I wanted it to look. And then I used the masking tape to mark off the lines. I measured with a ruler where, how wide I wanted them. And so work slowly. Do multiple coats, let it dry fully in between.
What's that tip about the stripping thing? Because you strip the leather first a little bit, right?
Yeah.
With like
Oh.
a special solution.
It's a solvent.
Mm-hmm.
I used Angelus Professional Leather Preparer and Deglazer.
Mm-hmm.
And it smells like nail polish remover. And
Like,
you're gonna
Yummy.
be rubbing you're gonna be rubbing at the leather, right, to pull off all of that stain and the finish that they use to protect it. So definitely wear gloves because you want to, not damage your skin.
Right.
It'll eat away at the skin. And work slowly. And when I pulled off the tape, it was super dry, just like I had used the leather stripper there. But once I conditioned it, the color came back and it looks nice again. So don't worry if it looks a little weird when you pull off the tape. It's going to look weird like that. I used Skidmore's leather cream, but I don't like the smell of this one. It smells very chemically, and I probably would not buy this one again. It works great on the leather, but I don't like the way it smells.
Oh,
So if
so
you're sensitive to smells.
by the time this episode comes out, Plotter would have released a series of leather cream that we purchased from Japan that is really good for leather. It's called Brio Cream, and it's by Columbus, this company in Japan.
Oh,
And
awesome.
it's like natural cream and wax and stuff.
I did notice that Traveler's Company U.S. web store has a leather conditioner.
Renapur, yes. That's like a more of a waxy one for a Traverse notebook. The one for Plotter is like more of a cream texture, like kind of like skin cream. So I wonder which one is yours like. Like, is that more of a waxy texture or yours more of like a moisture?
It's like a face cream.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of thick yogurty
Yes.
consistency.
Yeah.
But it does not smell nice.
Nice. I love it. I love all the things. And I think that's pretty much, most of the things we wanted to have you show and tell today. And I guess to kind of round off this episode before we end it, thanks again for sharing all that stuff. What's your favorite local meetups that we have done? I would love for you to kind of like share. Do you have your like top 3, just to give our readers our listeners, sorry, readers, listeners, some idea, what meetups could be like, how is it like, what they would look like if you were to host one.
So I really liked Eastern Cafe. We haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
But I liked Eastern Cafe. It's kind of a smaller venue and not a lot of space, but their brunches are good.
It's a giant table, and we get to eat crepe. That's part of the reason. And that's one of our earlier meetups where we met you too, right? So I remember that.
And I really like the Starbucks Reserve because it's got a nice big table. It's got a couple of like more private rooms off of the main cafe, so you can both be around like the hum of the cafe, but still have that space that's separate for journaling and your group. And they have the nice big tables. And the pho place was right across the street. Unfortunately, they closed it. So I missed the pho place.
The pho place was so good. It used to be our thing, journal and then get lunch together. And the Starbucks Reserve, we're so lucky to have Starbucks Reserve. It's the roastery that's right underneath, if you're in Seattle, that's the one right underneath the headquarters. And we're lucky because I feel like that's been a hidden gem. People usually go to the busier Starbucks Reserve.
The one up on Capitol Hill.
Roastery, yeah. And then so that one we would have no chance of even like finding a space.
I've been to that one time. I went in, it was packed full of people, and I walked right back out.
I know, it gives me
a valid choice.
It gives me very much anxiety, to be honest, to see that many people.
Yeah, so really any place with a nice big table and that makes good coffee.
That makes
or
good
tea
coffee.
if you like tea.
We did enjoy, I mean, one of my most memorable ones were at what is that mall in Bellevue? And
Crossroads.
Yes, and we call it the Stationery Delta because like we were, you can just go to a mall and then there's all these like public tables and stuff, so that was what we used. But then after that, we were like, okay, there's Michael's, there's Joanne's, and there's Daiso's. So there's like the
and half price books.
And half price books. So we were like, this is the Stationery Delta where we could like just go in and look for other stuff, either after the meetup or before the meetup. So that was kind of funny. I like
and the
that
food
one.
Court too, so that if you don't want coffee, if you want to have lunch, you can have lunch too.
Yes. I definitely feel like we should do like malls a little bit more. Just for the food options.
Yeah, and they have a lot of table options too, so that's nice.
No, that's great. Kelly, we missed you. You need to come up soon.
I know, and I actually something I want to leave off and ask. Are we leave? We're not leaving off, are we? Or are we?
We are about to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, before we do that, I want to ask Sarah, if you know off the top of your head, how many Twisbys do you have?
Maybe 10.
That's respectable.
I'd have to count them. I have a few.
Can
I have
we
a
like
few on my
see
wish
them?
list too. Some that I've missed. Let me see.
Oh, so beautiful!
And it's mostly Twisby Echoes, right?
Twisby Echoes and the Echo Teas because I find the Twisby pens to be reliable. They're, if I
I see the Draco in there.
Yes, she has the Draco.
If I leave a pen, a Twisby sitting for a few weeks, even though it's inked up, and I pick it up and write with it, it will write the first time. Pardon the dog.
Yes. That's okay. Oh my god, I love them all together. They're so beautiful.
How many?
And
They're
I'm so
like-
jealous of the pale pink one. It's so good.
They're like Legos right
Oh,
now.
They are.
I have 18. I was a little low on my estimate.
But they're
These-
so good.
So these 3 I actually ordered from Stickerific.
I knew it.
I'm not sure if they still. I'm not sure if they still have the blue one in stock, but they did still
Oh,
have
they're
the
so
baby
cute.
pink and bright
Yeah.
pink.
Because those were the Asia exclusive ones, I think.
Yeah, there are a few that are on my wish list. A turquoise one that I'll probably never get my hands on. A yellow green and a green yellow.
There's an orange one,
Mhm.
right? There
I
used to
saw
be an
that. I
orange
think there's an
one.
orange one.
You don't mean the transparent orange, right?
No, the
No.
opaque orange
No.
one.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I prefer the opaque ones.
She does.
Yeah, they're cute.
Although I do have a few transparents.
I love it. The collection continues.
Yes.
Um,
It's
and
beautiful.
you know they're gonna come out with more soon. You know it.
Oh God,
You just know it.
the worst.
Anyway,
Well-
thanks for sharing all these with us today. It was so much fun having you on the After Dark episode. I felt like we only glimpsed a tiny tip of the iceberg into what Sarah has to offer in terms of her stationery knowledge.
I could go on talking for hours.
I know. Maybe you should be part of our happy hour crew.
Yes.
For those who wants to follow Sarah's stationery journey, her Instagram account is SARAHO2480, Sarah O 2480, and you don't stream or anything, which you should, but it's probably gonna be a lot of work. But I love there you can follow like a lot of the work in progress or the processes of her like kind of trying out different paper, different materials. They're on her feed, and I think it's amazing. So thank you, Sarah, for joining us today. It was so much fun to have you. Can't wait to meet you again. We're actually hanging out this Friday, Kelly. Not you, but Sarah and I were going to the caravan.
I'm so excited.
Oh, nice. Oh, good. That's fun.
We're gonna go to the caravan. We're gonna stamp some stuff, and we're gonna go eat delicious salmon sushi afterwards.
That does sound like a good idea.
Oh my gosh, they have the best sushi bento.
Yes,
So good.
it's a 9-box bento with like the most delicious salmon sushi all throughout.
Oh
It was,
my gosh.
It's insane. We'll post pictures.
yes. And with that, we'll wrap up this episode. You guys can follow us on Instagram, the Stationery Cafe. You're here in our Patreon, so thank you. And we look forward to bringing you another fun episode next week. Next month. I forgot this is the After Dark. Bye, Kelly. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm